Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Morning.
Good morning.
Well, it's 10 o'clock. How is everyone this happy Monday? Yeah, spring break for most of us, right? Anybody on a quarter system? Can you guys hear me?
We had ours. Chico's a little weird. It's the week of the St. Patrick's Day, so we're on track.
Are you quarter though, or semester?
Semester.
Okay. And maybe we'll give a minute or two for some others to join. Good morning, Long. We're still gathering. Well, I'll just run through some agenda items, and then what I was going to want to do today was show you our outage process. We tie it into ServiceNow and availability, and then hopefully couple months, we'll have Long be able to present an even better version of it. So this is kind of give you a taste of what we're doing here in Fullerton. So we're quite happy with it so far. So there's always improvement opportunities. But so I just want to call your attention to a number of panel discussions going on. The first one is on the 29th at 12 p.m. our time. There's a link in the group meeting agenda notes on Google Drive. The next one will be on the 12th of April. And that's going to be at 1 p.m. And that's on, well, the first one's going to be on product and service ownership. So I got a panel together of service owners and product managers, and they're going to talk about some of the similarities and differences between being a service owner and being a product manager. I think there's a lot of confusion in the community as far as what's a product owner and what's a service owner. So that should be interesting. The one in April is going to be a CIO panel discussion. I thought it'd be interesting and enlightening to talk to CEOs about how they feel about service management. And actually, we have our very own Carol from Cal Poly Pomona is going to be on the panel. So Dylan, you may want to attend that just to get some brownie points. And then that's going to actually be on Adobe Connect, and there'll be a meeting invite or an announcement going out today. And then the final one is going to be on the 26th of April at 1 p.m. our time. And this is with project managers and service managers or people that work in a service management office or service management program. So it's going to be talking about how these two departments can work together to better deliver and support and design IT services. So I have a really good panel lined up for that. So that should be really, really exciting. And nothing has gone out yet about that officially, but look for something in the next couple of weeks. Any questions about any of those panels discussions? Okay. What I want to do for this group in April, who just joined? Oh, hi, Jim. Welcome. I'm just going over some panel discussions that are coming up the next 2 months. The next event that is going to be scheduled is we have a centralized IT purchasing process, and I've asked our financial director to come and talk to the group about it. And so I'm going to work with her on putting together a presentation for this group. Alyssa, some of you might know Alyssa. She came over from the chancellor's office. And then another one in the works is with Dylan. We're going to talk about knowledge management and integrating the Media Wiki into ServiceNow. We haven't decided on a date for that, but I'll be in touch with you, Dylan, to work out the best time with you. And then as I mentioned, Long and I were talking about looking at their outage process. I know you're doing some revamping of that, so we'll get together and see when the best time to present on that will be. Any questions so far? Okay. The next item is some of you have been interested in a service catalog working group, either as a mentor or a mentoree. We had a conflict in March, so I've been asked to push it back to April. So probably within the next day or two, I'll send out a doodle poll to see if you're interested and to find the best date for us to meet. So we'll have that kickoff in April sometime. And then finally, I've been asking some of you if you're interested in serving on a steering committee to kind of help me do some planning, to generate new ideas. It's just kind of just general, just to kind of help me out. And I've had 2 people express interest. I'm still working on setting up a meeting for us. So I have Asha, so thank you, and Lou has also expressed interest. If anybody else feels like they want to be part of this steering committee, won't require a lot of your time, but I would sure appreciate any help. I'll set up a meeting invite for that, so just shoot me an email if you're interested. And then the last item, old item I had is Gia or Lou, or Gia, I was actually Lou's not on the call. Gia, did you find out about anything about the CSU-wide Tech Day?
Mitch. So far, still no word on that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I think it wasn't. I think it's rumor had it was going to be in October sometime. But if something does come your way, some information, just if you wouldn't mind passing it along. So,
Sure. Yep. Sure.
like I said, be a
Definitely.
great opportunity for those of us that can meet in person to try to have a track or a session focused on service management. So,
Yep. We'll do.
thanks. All right. Any new items? Any questions for the group for me before I move into our outage process? Okay. Are you guys just quiet because it's Monday, or?
Hey guys, Scott Nemus just joined.
I'm sorry, who, Jim?
Hey, my name's Scott. I just
Scott.
joined.
Oh, hey, Scott.
How's it going?
Good. Yeah, we're just updating the group on some planned panel discussions and other events that are in the works for the group. So I don't know if you caught the tail end of that. We're trying to schedule the service catalog working group meeting. And I'll send out a doodle poll in the next couple of days to find out your availability. But hopefully we can schedule that sometime in April. So,
that sounds great.
Okay. So we had a request or a vision, if you will, to take our manual process for notifying the campus on outages. The old way was we would post a message on our systems page. I don't know how many of your campuses use Omni Update, but we're an Omni Update shop. So we had our web developer create an OU page, and we had what we consider our 9 critical services listed on that page. And we try to mimic basically a system uptime or availability by using light indicators, yellow, green, red. I'm sure most of your campuses do this already. But it was all in Omni Update, and it was a manual process. We would get a notification to post a message, whether it was planned or unplanned, from the technical resource of the manager saying, hey, something's gone down, can you please post a message? So an email would get sent to someone in our help desk who had the rights to log in OU to create this outage message, both for planned and unplanned. Now, the planned was a little easier because you had a couple days notice, but getting a hold of somebody when it's an unplanned outage, as you know, can be challenging, especially if it's off business hours. So information wouldn't get sent out in a timely manner. Content would sometimes be confusing, or it would, at the very minimum, would be inconsistent, right? So there was a need to streamline the communication process. We also looked at email as well. Like, can we automatically send out an email notification using ServiceNow or some way to automate it? So that was in scope originally, but then we realized that would be a challenge at this point. So we've limited in scope. We just scoped out. We scoped out the using our updating assistance page. So that was the old thing. That was the old way of doing it. So, and I'll show you some of the forms and things like that. The new way is, okay, so we have ServiceNow. It's a powerful tool. We can use it to automate communication through the systems page by using using a record. So what we've decided to do was, first thing we did is we said, okay, what do we need to communicate about? We need to communicate about unplanned and planned outages, right? Which services do we need to communicate these outages? We picked our 9 critical services. So we have email, we have our website, we have voice, so a VoIP system. Here, let me just actually show you. Okay, so these are our 9 critical services. Can everyone see this?
Yes, I can see it.
Okay,
Yep.
so these are our 9 critical services. So our Titan card, which you probably have some sort of Titan or some sort of tender, like a credit card, so to speak. Portal, Titanium, which is our learning management system, our wireless network, our wired network, campus website, email for faculty and staff, our Titan Online, which is our ERP system, and our telephone services. So we said, all right, well, let's pick our 9 top critical services to communicate outage information about. So using ServiceNow, using the Service Portfolio Management module, we are tracking availability for these services, both for planned and unplanned outages. So I said, what are the requirements? Well, the requirement is to automate posting up to the systems page. The requirement is to make it easy to post a message without having to go through sending an email to somebody saying, hey, please post it, and to leverage the existing tool. So automate the posting of the message, integrate it within the applications that we already use. So for planned outages, we use change management, and for unplanned, we actually use problem record. So we use a problem record to establish that there is an outage. So we link our incidents to a problem, and then once the problem is resolved, or once we know there's a known error with the workaround, then there's a trigger to resolve all the related incidents. So within those records, we wanted to give the ability to create the outage record. So for those of you who are ServiceNow shop, know that there is an outage record in ServiceNow. I'm sure other tools have a similar feature, but for ServiceNow, it's an outage record. So I'll go into any questions so far. I'm just kind of giving you a high level process and where we're at. Excuse me. Very good.
Hey, Mitch.
Yeah.
Is this is Scott Nemus. Question for you. Is this for planned outages, unplanned outages, or both?
Correct. So it's for both. So it's for planned outages and it's for unplanned outages.
Okay.
So we leverage change management record for planned outages. Excuse me. I have a little bit of a cold here. And we leverage problem record to kick off, if you will, or trigger, or tie into our major incident process. So in ServiceNow, if somebody opens up an incident, and for our major incident, we say if there are 5 or more calls with reporting the same incident within 30 minutes, then we kick off our major incident management process. So we associate incidents with a problem record. And so we define a process through problem to associate major incidents. It's not necessarily the ITIL way, but it's the way that we decided to implement it, right? So
yeah, I mean, just to put things in perspective, the way we're doing it here, it's all email based, right? So it's brutal. So excited to see what you guys are doing.
Yeah, I mean, it's really leveraging the power of the tool, and more importantly, it's consensus among all of the different process practitioners, and the manager saying, yes, we empower you to post a message. We've agreed that the canned message will work, and if you need to modify it, the manager can go in and modify it. And that's the biggest problem or biggest roadblock is just getting buy-in, right? And getting everyone to agree that we're giving up the power to send to have email, to use email to send out. We're giving up that, and we're trusting our staff. So let me kind of show you. So, all right. So if we're in the problem record, so we already identified as a major incident, the managers of that particular service. So our service owners, for the most part, are the technical managers for the department that manage that service. So for email, it's our systems and infrastructure group, right? So they're the ones that get assigned the problem record once there's been a major incident reported. So everybody can see this, right?
Yes.
Okay, so the assignment group becomes the team responsible for troubleshooting the outage, and the assigned to becomes the manager responsible for that assignment group. And the reason why it's a manager is because we want them communicating through the ticket work that's being done to resolve the incident or the outage. We also use Slack to communicate to the help desk what's happening, and it's the what I would call them the major incident communicator. That person's the manager of the assignment group. That's is a liaison between the help desk and calls that come into him from senior management wanting to know what's going on. So in other words, we're trying to remove the line staff from responding to calls so they can focus on working on the outage, because we want to make sure we get that outage resolved as quickly as possible. And they're being bugged. Hey, what's the status? What's the status? They're not going to be able to do their work. Caveat, I don't know, like you, a lot of our technical managers are technical, and so they like to get into the weeds and they like to work on the issue. So some of that's kind of a learning curve to kind of help them remove themselves a little bit from that, or at least to be available to communicate back and forth. So we require a configuration item when it's a P1 major outage. Put a short description, right? Let me just put something in here for you. So I'll just say, so assigned to the manager, right? If I say there's an outage, okay. Once I click the outage button, then, and initially the help desk is the one that's assigning creating the problem record and assigning it to the assignment group and to that manager. So they are the ones that are creating the initial outage record and the outage message. So they have to choose the outage type. So if there's a degradation of service or if it's a partial or complete outage, they would pick the right one, right? So then if I better not do it in production. So let me move to our development instance. That would be kind of bad, right? Okay, let me see if this may not be in demo. It may be in, you know, we're testing single sign-on right now. So I think it's going to be in our, well, it should be in our demo. Give me a second here to pull something up. Okay, so all right, good. So in this example, the configuration item is our portal, right? We put it as a flag as a P1 critical major outage. We identified it as an outage and the outage start time. You can go in here and you can modify the start time of the outage. So say the manager said, oh, well, actually the outage began last night. The help desk would go in there and then just put it at the right time, because we're trying to accurately report when the outage started. But the key thing is to make sure you're getting that message out to the campus. So that's important to us. So I'll create the outage. So if you notice, it creates an outage record. You can modify the outage record by clicking on this information icon. And so as you see here, this is the canned message that everyone approved that is used by default. You can go in here and modify it. If I want to say like, you know, some users, right? Then all I'll have to do is save, right? And then if I go to our systems page, see if I can do that in demo. You know what? So this is on prod, so you're not going to see the message because I don't have a link to our demo systems page. But basically, this is the systems page in ServiceNow. And the message I just created here, some users may experience interruption when attempting to connect to the portal. That would appear under portal. Because it's an outage, it would be there would be a red X, and the message would be on there to say what I just said when it began. If I want to resolve it, then all I have to do, go to here, all I have to do is end outage now, and it appends the end time to the message. The message gets updated with the resolution message, the green arrow, or the green check mark, with the resolution message. It stays on for 24 hours, and then it's removed automatically, and it goes back to this normal status. That's for unplanned outages. Real quick, part of that is, let me go back to the record. What we wanted to do is we didn't want to close the problem record just so we can close the incidents. In other words, if the problem is still open, we wanted a way to close the related incidents. So we're using the known error state. So there has to be a known error plus a workaround. So if I just update that, I have to see if you notice that, I have to put in a workaround message. The workaround message gets pushed to the, or gets added to the additional comments from the caller. So they can say, well, the message might say, please restart your computer or use a different browser, right? That might be the workaround. And so that will resolve all the related incidents and still keep the problem record open. Any questions there? Does that make sense? How many of you are using some sort of problem record for outages, or using just problem record in general?
Hey, Mitch,
Yeah, please. I would love questions at this point. I know I'm giving you a lot of information, so please stop me anytime.
one question that I have, we're not using ServiceNow today, but I've used it in a previous life.
Okay.
How integrated is this outage type with the problem record? Is that something that's fairly out of the box and you flip a bit, or did you have to do significant
Right. So I don't want to, I'm not the I'm not the developer, but what I can tell you, when working with him, it wasn't too much. We could just, the outage record is there, and so these fields, at least, they could add these fields by, like you said, by just flipping a switch. There was some scripting involved for the canned messages to appear, so a little bit of both, if that helps.
Okay, sounds like fairly low to medium level of effort.
Yeah, if you know JavaScript, then you can do you can do a lot of things within the tool. A lot of it is just pulling over a field, naming the value, the variable. So yeah, a lot of stuff you can just do out of the box. If you right click, you could, and I was administrator, I could see all the different fields that are available within this form. So anybody else have a question about this, the unplanned outages? So yeah, so we're able to go back and forth. So say somebody messed up, right? They can cancel the outage. They want to change it from, an outage to a degradation. All they have to do is hit update or save, and it changes the message. Well, I already put a known error. So it's really easy to go back and forth. And we wanted to make it flexible for right now until people get comfortable with it, and then we might start locking things down, which I'm a big fan of that, by the way. So, okay, so if you're ready, I'll move on to our planned outages.
Hi, Mitch. I just
Hi.
have questions.
Sure, of course.
Yeah, is there a way to relate this problem records to incidents? Because most of the unplanned outages, come with related incidents that come from different people.
Right, so absolutely. So the problem record, so if you can see this related incident field. So once an incident is opened and the help desk determines that it is an outage, they have enough experience, they've run through their troubleshooting scripts for each of the major incidents. So if you notice, these are P1 major outages, they're not P2 critical outages. So we just limit it to our 9 critical services. And talk to me offline if you kind of are a little unclear, maybe what is P1 versus a P2 for a major incident. We can discuss that offline. But it's limited to right now to our major incidents. So once they determine it's an outage for these critical services, then they will associate, the help desk will associate the incident with the problem record. So they create the problem record, associate the incident, assign the problem record to the assignment group. And then every incident after that will get related to the problem record. Does that answer your question?
Yep, it does. Thanks.
Okay. And we do it we have this association regardless whether it's a major incident or not. If there's a known error or some sort of problem that we just want to track, we can associate incidents with them as well. So, but the only difference is obviously we wouldn't use an outage type. So, there's also say the help desk or IT reports a major or an outage, and we resolve it before we think anybody notices. We have an initial resolution message that gets sent out because we believe in being transparent, right? So we say you may have experienced something, but we fixed it. So does that make sense? Okay. All right. Let me just cancel this. I'll go now to our change record. Okay, so with change, we wanted to automate the posting of the planned maintenance message. So the old way is that we would send an email at some point to the help desk. They would get around to posting the message, and we're really inconsistent as far as when we would post a systems maintenance to the systems page, right? So around that, we try to define a guideline around posting or communicating a planned outage, and we have 3 different planned maintenance types, from minor to what we call major, and depending on the change type, then we have a more aggressive communication method. So for most of ours, which are minor, the message gets posted 3 days before the 3 days before the planned maintenance. So we wanted to automate this, and we wanted to make it more consistent. So in the change record, let me just, I don't know if I should create a new one, or let me see. I'll walk you through this. So we also have a change management process that's a little bit cumbersome. We're hoping to streamline it more, but we have different phases right now. So right now, if I'm creating a change record, I create the change record, right? I put a category. Let's just say it's hardware. Let's say it's a server, assignment group. Okay, let's say it's that. And whatever, I don't have to sign it by right now. It's still in draft, right? We have to submit it, and then we have to pick an outage type. So if I know that there's going to be, just pick something here. Let's just say we're going to do maintenance on Moodle here. Anybody from LA on the call? Okay, good. So we have to pick the outage type. So again, it's planned. A planned outage is there's no impact, there's degradation of service, or there's an outage. Let's just say that we're going to take down Moodle as part of this planned maintenance. I submit it, I hit save. Oh, I have to, sorry. Moodle maintenance. And then I got to pick a, update patches. And then I schedule, I'll pick. Now, so for, depending on the change type, and I'm not trying to go into our change management process, but in a nutshell, we have certain lead times for changes. So I'll say this is a minor change, and I'll give it at least a week. So let me go here. Our maintenance windows on Thursday nights. Okay, it's going to be down for an hour. Okay, I think I have everything. Hit submit. Okay, go back into the record. Okay, now that I submitted that it's an outage, I have the ability to create the outage. So the reason we left this as a second phase of the change process is because we wanted to give them an opportunity to talk to their approver, talk to other staff saying, okay, we know it's going to bring something down, but do we need to communicate it? And the one example why we wouldn't necessarily think we need to communicate it, if it falls on a planned maintenance window and the campus already knows that services are going to be down on this evening because it's part of our routine maintenance, then there's really no reason to post an extra message. Some departments may want to do that, so we wanted to have that flexibility. Are you with me so far? Any questions so far? Okay, so all I have to do now as the submitter, I'm still working in the record. I create the outage. Okay, the outage record is created. All right, then I click on the information icon. Here's the can message, right? I can go in, I can modify it if I want. It already has the beginning and end dates for the planned outage because that's part of the planned start and end date in the change record. So there's no reason to change that unless you want to extend it or make it shorter. You can always do that. Okay, I'll go ahead and save. So like I said, it won't appear on this page until 3 days before the planned maintenance. And it'll stay on, the resolution message will stay on for 24 hours. Okay. That's our planned maintenance outage message related to changes. Questions so far, observations, feedback, criticism, compliments?
So is there, and I think for what I'm aware of or from what I know about the outage module, users can subscribe to get email notifications to it. Do you guys actually publish email notifications, or is it all just managed out of ServiceNow?
Okay, great question. So when originally when we originally kicked off this project, we were scoping that we scoped in emails using outage notifications, using subscriptions. So notifications. Let me see here. Here. So yes, we originally were going to make that an option or a feature, but one thing that was important to us is to make sure we shibbolized ServiceNow, and we're still working on that. The other thing is just the politics of getting email messages approved, right? It's one thing to put a message on the systems page where people have to deliberately go to. It's another thing to get email sent to their inbox.
I hear that.
So, there are a lot of challenges, we're facing with that. So our idea, though, is once we shibbolise, we'll have subscriptions. Actually, I could probably show you in here. I don't know if they've built it into here yet. Okay, it's probably in our dev environment, which, like I said, we're working on shibbolizing. So what would be here for the user is when they would log on to ServiceNow and go to their notification preferences, whether it be a button or a link, it would take them to this section which you're viewing here, and there would be the 9 critical services listed here. It would have their email address, and it would have their cell number. So they could opt in for these notifications. And right now, when we roll it out as part of phase 2, it'll be just outages. So eventually we want to let people know, for example, you guys use LMS, maybe use Turnitin. If there's like a problem record associated with one of our critical services, for example, Turnitin is not working right, well, there's some people that are going to want to know if Turnitin is working or not. So eventually we want to make this available for more than just outages. But that's kind of where we are right now with these. So anybody doing automation of email notifications? Yeah, I think it's a struggle for all of us. So any questions about these processes or outage?
It's really
Go ahead.
Really good stuff.
It's with any service management thing, it's like we have to go back and revisit, say, okay, is this working the way we intended to work? What are some improvements we can make to it? So hopefully we can start down that road as well, after we've been using it for a while. One thing, where we want to go, I guess any good presentation has takeaways and where we want to go in the future, other than just, we talked about adding subscriptions, is being able to add more than just the critical services to our outage, right? Or being able to automate the customization of a message. So for example, if we have a network outage right now, it's just like the CAN message says there's an outage to the network services, but we may want to say, well, there's an outage to building J, right? And so only people in building J would care about that there's an outage in building J. So we would identify additional CIs for that, because we need to track our outages related to the CI. So that's why we require in the CI field to put what critical service is being impacted, which adds to availability record. So in the service now, you don't see it, but we track availability over 7 days and 30 days. We just don't present that to the user. So takeaway, involve the people in the process, get training, train your managers as well, because they have to understand how they can support the process. You know, I would say start simple, you know, start with a message everyone can agree upon, build in flexibility, customizing the messages. If we didn't enable customization of the message just by simply going in and editing it, I think we would have been in a far worse situation, because just in the few outages we've had, people have wanted to go in and customize, and they have used that. So. Any other questions, comments? Anybody doing similar work or looking at doing something similar? I know if Long was still here, he was going to present originally on his outage process, but I think they've are going through a change and working on updating it. So I'm kind of excited to see what he's going to be able to present to the group. I saw kind of what he did or what they were doing, which was pretty exciting. So. Anybody? Oh, there's a bunch of chat. Let me see. So Dylan said we're doing something similar. That's good. Automate system status footer. Oh, there you go, on the IT page. Oh, the other thing we want to do is some of our services have a landing page, and so we want to be able to export maybe through XML or some way to feed into these landing pages, because as probably on your campus as well, the users of that particular service are going to go to the landing page first. They're not necessarily going to go to our systems page until we do a better job advertising that this is where you want to go for all outage related information. When we look at our web stats for systems page, it's very, very low. So I think one of the lessons learned is involve your community as much as possible. You know, once you've got something you're proud of, market it, get feedback on it from outside of IT. I mean, you can always start within IT, but take it eventually outside of IT. Yeah, so Long just said that they're looking at SMS messages for critical incidents to service managers. Yeah, I think that's something we'd want to do in the future is, you know, yeah, we do a great job communicating externally, but sometimes we forget to communicate internally. And so, you know, do we spin up a listserv? Do we use Slack? You know, how do we push and pull messages about outages to our internal users and make it more detailed so that the help desk has quality information, so when someone calls, they can give them better information. So. Any other questions or comments? Or any other question, comments about some of the things coming up? The service catalog working group. Let me open this so you can see it. So the service catalog working group. Anybody interested in, you know, if you've got something you want to present, shoot me an email offline. I'm happy to discuss your presentation. I'm always looking for peers to share what they're doing. It doesn't have to be perfect. As you can see, ours isn't perfect, but it gives you some ideas, right? So there's always value in that. Anybody have anything to say? We're good? Okay. All right. Well, I guess I can give you 15 minutes or so back. Again, feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions, concerns, ideas. I would love to hear from you. Again, I'm really excited about these panel discussions coming up. Be looking at the Slack channel. I'll communicate the times. Also, if you're part of if you're on any of the listservs, the EDUCAUSE, you'll see those going out. And if you're part of ITSMF USA, I use their MailChimp program to send out messages. So you should be seeing more information about these panels. All right, everyone have a good day. Thanks for joining me and listening to how we're doing things here.
Thanks for the presentation.
Yeah, of course. All right, take care, everyone.
Thanks, Bitch. Bye.
All right, bye.